everybody! So Crystal and I are here today to do our June wrap-up. It is officially the end of June. I cannot believe it. This month flew by, but I think we both read a few great books in the month, so we're gonna share a few of what we got through with you today.
So my reading really didn't go according to plan this month, but I still managed to read some great things. First up is Daughter of the Siren Queen. This is the follow-up to Daughter of the Pirate King. I listened to this audiobook and it was just fantastic. It was so nice to get back in touch with Alosa and Raiden. And in this book, we learn more about Alosa's mother and the secrets behind that. And we get to spend a lot more time with her all-girl pirate crew. And it was just really great getting to know these really cool characters and going on an adventure. And I feel this one had so much more like action-adventure than the first book. Though I did enjoy the first book just a little bit better. This one we have like an open seas chase, a lot of secrets and mysteries, and it was just great. If you enjoyed the first book and haven't gotten to this one yet, I definitely recommend it. I don't know why I put it off for so long, but it was thoroughly enjoyable.
So the first book that I got to in the month of June is Beauty Queens by Libba Bray. Now, I've expressed that I've had a kind of riddled past with Libba Bray's books. The first two books of hers I didn't love, but then I recently fell in love with the Diviner series earlier this year, and I'm so glad I decided to pick up Beauty Queens and give it a go because it was fantastic. This cover really put me off for a long time, but this book was so funny and so ahead of its time. It was published in 2011, but tackles so many really important issues. It is about a group of beauty queens whose plane crash lands onto what appears to be a deserted island, and it is their kind of struggle to survive, shall we see, while also confronting a lot of stereotypes about women. This world is run by the corporation, so it's kind of an alternate version of our world, and everything is highly consumerized. It tackles all sorts of issues. It confronts kind of like beauty standards and sexuality and just what the expectations are of women. It really hits the nail on the head of so many topics, and it's so tongue-in-cheek. Like, reading this as a woman, I thought it was absolutely hilarious, and I would actually be really curious to see what a man's interpretation of this book would be, like if they would even get all of the things that she's talking about, because it's just constantly littered with these expectations, and I was just really impressed with how well it was done, and for being published in 2011 it still really held up, and I'm so glad I picked it up.
Another book I read this month was A Clue for the Puzzle Lady by Parnell Hall. This is the first in his Puzzle Lady series, but the second book in the series that I read. I started with book 17, which was Presumed Puzzled, just because it kind of stood out on the shelf to me. And me being me, I had to go back to the beginning, because you just got to start a series from the beginning. In this book, we meet Cora Felton. She is well known for writing a crossword column in many, many newspapers across the country. And her niece are living in this really small town in New York State. One morning, a body of a teenage girl is found in the cemetery, and in her pocket the police find a random note. And it kind of looks like a crossword puzzle clue. So one of the other police on the squad is like, hey, the puzzle lady lives in our town. Maybe she'll know what it means. So it just kind of rolls into this really strange murder mystery involving crossword puzzle clues and a small town, a newspaper reporter, and it's just... I've never really read cozy mysteries before, and I'm so glad I discovered them. I'm really looking forward to reading the rest of the books in this series. It's just fun and refreshing.
So next up, I picked up a graphic novel on the recommendation from somebody who works at my local comic book store, and that is Gideon Falls by Jeff Lemire, Andrea Sorrentino, and Dave Stewart. I really love Jeff Lemire's writing and his art, so I was excited to pick this up on recommendation because I'd never heard of it before. Now, this is a horror graphic novel, and this first volume is called The Black Barn, and the Black Barn is like this mysterious omen that appears to people, and after people see it, kind of like death and madness. Yes, death and madness lies in its wake. One of our main characters is a young man in, I believe, New York City, but he is convinced that he can tell the future from the trash that he finds in the streets. And the other one is a middle-aged Catholic priest who has kind of a troubled past, who has recently moved to a small town to take over as the new priest after theirs has died. It's very dark. It is a horror, so it's quite creepy, but it just gave me such an ominous tone. I think it would be really cool to read like in October at a spooky time of year, and I will definitely be reading more volumes in this series because it gave me a bit of a shiver.
The last book for me is one that I'm almost finished, but not quite. I hope to finish it this evening, and that is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I'm listening to the audiobook for this right now, and it's excellent. I love the narrators, I love how the story is going along, and I've just been on such an audiobook kick. It's kind of the only way I could get any reading done at all. In this book we follow Yumiko, who is a half human, half fox demon. Though I hate using the word demon because she's just a sweet person and I love her so much. Yumiko grew up in a temple with a bunch of monks and she's lived there her whole life. But the temple is attacked and everybody is killed off because bad guys are looking for the demon scroll, which she has been given to keep safe. So she flees her temple to go warn another temple that people are coming and hunting the dragon scroll. At the beginning of her journey, she crosses paths with Tatsumi. He is a samurai demon hunter. And together they decide to help each other out and head towards the capital so they can warn the next temple about the bad guys. Along the way, they encounter a couple more characters that join their group and battle some strange demons, a creepy centipede, and just lots of weird stuff. I'm almost done the audiobook. I really want to know what happens at the end, and I cannot wait to start the second book.
And last but not least, I know Crystal talked about Shadow of the Fox, and this month I read the sequel, Soul of the Sword, which just came out. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I will say I was like 95% sure that this was a duology. It's not a duology, it's a trilogy. The third book comes out next April, so we don't have to wait a full year for that. But as I was getting towards the end, I'm like, there's no way this can wrap up the story. Yeah. Not a duology, Cori. Good to know. But I still really enjoyed this book. I don't want to say too much about it because it will spoil the ending of Shadow of the Fox if I tell you what this one's about. But let's just say some of our main characters have been split up and are on separate journeys. Our main character Yumiko is still very much there. And I just really like this series. I think Julie Kagawa's writing is fantastic. And I really want to pick up more books by her because this series has convinced me she should be an auto-buy author for me.
So those were the books I read this month and a few of the books that Cori read this month. As always, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. Happy reading and thanks for being awesome.
Bye! Bye.